And yeah, moving on to Mr. Jake Paul. You know, love him, like him, hate him, whatever. He is one of the faces of boxing, and it looks like he's going to be here to stay because Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, did massive, massive numbers. Even though the event was a bit of a letdown. But I mean, it did huge numbers, and I think Jake can really capitalize on that. Let's talk about a few potential opponents for Jake here, and you're going to answer, does it make sense, and who do you think wins? And we'll go with the boxers. I won't move over to the crossover space. Number one is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who is 38 years old. He has a drug and alcohol history, but he handled business against an MMA fighter, I believe, in July on Jake Paul's undercard. And Jake recently said, that's too easy of work. I don't want to fight him. But what do you think? Would that fight make sense? And who do you think wins that?
First of all, that'd be a great fight for Jake Paul. Okay, he actually have a real boxing name, like an actual ex-world champion, son of a legend boxer on his resume. But I don't think Julio Cesar Chavez is too partied out, man. I think he'll be focused for most of the training camp, then lose focus and then give up in the fucking ring. So I think that'd be a perfect look for Jake Paul, man.
I totally agree. It gives him the look of a boxer, and you know, Jake's fought a lot of unconventional guys. He'll get more of that conventional fight, and I just think that'd be a great experience. And I would take Jake as well. I think Jake is too big. He's too damn big for Chavez Jr., who back in the day wasn't that heavy of a guy. If they fight at
shit, that motherfucker big now, man. Yeah, Chavez is big as hell now, man.
Yeah, he is. And Jake's 227. Jake was 227.
Oh, man, that's a bloated Jake Paul, man.
I don't know, man. Jake's got that Midwest bone density, man. He's thick. He's thick with a few C's, man.
He said he got the Midwest bone density. We call that big bone in the South, man.
Built different up here. I mean, maybe not me, but some of these other dudes are built a little different.
In the South, we call that big boned, man. We don't call that thin. We call that big boned, man. He's big boned.
Yeah, so for the next fighter, I got Tommy Fury. Obviously, Jake lost to him a few years ago. Tommy, I believe, had hand surgery. He's been out of the game for a while. Do you think that makes sense? And who do you think wins that rematch?
Man, I think Tommy barely out-edged that shit in that first fight, man. I think Jake Paul adjusts and actually wins and maybe even stops Tommy Fury in the rematch.
I agree. And who are you rooting for in that first fight, Jake or Tommy? Because for people who don't know,
I had to go for
Kalvin was Jake's sparring partner for that fight, and Kalvin got kicked out after he whooped up on Jake in a sparring match. So yeah, who were you rooting for in that fight, Tommy or Jake?
I was actually going for Jake, man. Being in camp with him, I seen how locked in he was, and I seen the skill set and that he could potentially produce. I wanted Jake to win, man. I was all in. I wanted him to win.
Okay.
And I sincerely thought he was going to win too. I think they maybe took Tommy lightly. We'll do when we come back. I think he took Tommy lightly, but I think he had the skills to pull it off.
Okay, so I didn't know at the time when we did that first interview together. I didn't know if maybe you were just saying that just to, be a good sparring partner. But you honestly believe Jake was going to beat Tommy?
No, I did. Yeah, I honestly did, man. I think he had the power to beat Tommy just because Tommy was still young in his career. He was still amateur-ish, and he didn't really have a lot of experience. And so I had Jake winning that fight. And also, too, that's going to give me a fight. That's going to give me a win bonus if Jake would have won, too.
Oh, really? Yeah, when he talks, man. That's funny. Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. I think Jake was just – I think that was too light of a weight, partially. I think Tommy was just better than him at the time, quite honestly. But I also think for Jake's power to knock him out, weighing it at 183, just too little. Too little for Jake. But
he actually dropped him on that fight.
He did.
Yeah.
But he also landed a few right hands that didn't really do much to him. But
I see what you.
Yeah. Next fighter I got, because we have time constraints here. Ryan Garcia. All right, Ryan Garcia challenged him. That would be a massive, massive fight. Obviously, Garcia's more skilled and quicker. Jake's a lot bigger. That would be the great equalizer. So, does that fight make sense? And probably it'd have to be an exhibition, unless Ryan could get to over 175, and they probably can't be the same weight. Like, so Jake would be 199, maybe Garcia 175, 176 for it to be a cruiserweight, or it'd be an exhibition. But do you think that fight makes sense, and who do you think wins?
I think that fight makes 0 sense. And I'll tell you this why. Just because of the size difference. 0 sense. Even though Ryan Garcia has skills, they have weight classes for a reason. You know what I mean? If a guy's 122 pounds and he's the world champion at 122, he's not going to knock out a guy that's in heavyweight. And even though he's the world champion at 122, they have weight classes for a reason. Ryan Garcia, he's known for popping off at the mouth. He challenged Clarissa Shields. He challenged all these other folks in a boxing match too. I think he just
Clarissa Shields is crazy. She's crazy. I don't know if she's just trolling, but her saying she beats these dudes in fighting, man, that's just wild. That's insane.
That's what young cats call cap, man.
Yeah, I know. It would be bad. It'd be bad. But okay. Well, Garcia did weigh 143. He weighed 143 in his last fight, but I agree that'd be a little bit too difficult. One that could be more realistic. Canelo weighed 175 against Bivol. His last weigh-in was 168, and I actually think this fight will happen, whether it's next or down the road. Actually, I do think Jake, as long as Jake doesn't have a bad loss on his record moving forward, I feel like him and Canelo would sell out a stadium. It would be on Netflix, and both guys would make a lot of money. So does that fight make sense, and who do you think wins?
I think, like you said, that fight makes sense maybe down the road. I think Jake would want to maybe steal a world title at cruiserweight first, and then maybe Canelo will be enticed to win a title at cruiserweight against Jake and be like a ride off in the sunset type fight. But I know Jake Paul is your boy, man, but I got Canelo by murder, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, no, that's fair. And then the last hypothetical I got for you, all right, is this fighter, 19-2 pro boxer, last weighed in 175 pounds, Kalvin Hot Sauce Henderson. Who do you think wins, and does that fight make sense for Jake?
I've heard of that guy before, man, and I think the fight makes a lot of sense. Not just me being biased, but Jake wants a legit contender on his resume. Now, do I think it's a high risk, low reward? Hell yeah. It had to be a lot of promotion. I know I can sell a fight, but it would be a lot of promotion and push on his part to make it like a mega event, like him versus Tyson, because Tyson has the resume and the legendary status. But as far as him trying to show the world that he's serious about fighting and boxing, I think it's a really good matchup, man. Is it a dangerous fight for him? Yes. And I'm not even count and say that Jake won't have a chance of winning. Jake is getting better each fight, and he's strong, and he has a puncher's chance to beat me, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to train my ass off and treat it serious. I'm going to put my hands on him. I had to break it down, make sure they heard it.
Yeah, I think they would promote it, but I think once you get introduced to the public, you would take advantage of the opportunity, and you would sell the hell out of the fight. I think that would definitely sell out an arena. Once you do your thing, you start talking your shit on whether it's, probably a basketball arena, I would say. I definitely think that could sell at $17K, and that would give them legitimacy, and I think that'd be fun. If you were a boring dude, then that probably wouldn't make sense. But once you get introduced to the public and you start talking your shit, I think that would sell very well. That's a fight I would like to see. So, yeah. Kalvin, that's all I got for you. We previewed Usyk and Fury, talked a little bit of Jake Paul, and I'm sure I'll reach out to you down the road to bring you back on. But thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, sir, man. It was fun, man. I enjoyed this. Thank you so much, big dog. You made good choices.